So this should really surprise no one. The fact that we are getting calls and we have someone in a high office of position of someone with somewhat knowledgeable expertise saying that Brexit is not sustainable. Not sustainable. And this is not the first time this week we are saying this. That's the even bigger thing about this. This isn't the first time this week we are saying this. Just like at the beginning of this week, we went over the blog from the London School of Economics, basically saying, hey, look, these are all the reasons that Brexit is unsustainable. We've had multiple times of clear examples of fishing, the upcoming checks, industry saying how exports to Europe have dramatically decreased and that the government needs to do something. You know? And remember, not all the checks are in place. This is the thing. Most of the checks have been massively kicked down the road to about October and March and April of next year. Again, this was done to avoid all the chaos at the border and try and at least save some face. And then, obviously, at the end of this year, Boris can do his I got Brexit done speech. And I guarantee you, in some way, shape or form, that will happen. Boris will either do a I got Brexit done speech, or, as we saw just a couple of weeks ago now, we saw the leaflet come out of 3 businesses profiting from the great Brexit dividend. And of course, as we looked into those, they were anything but. But the big news about this new sustainability crisis of Brexit is the fact that this time, of all people, it is coming from the architect of Boris Johnson's very own deal, Lord Frosty himself. So before we jump into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And thank you very much to all the people who do support the channel that way. And so, on with the article. And this comes from The Independent. And the title is, Architect of Boris Brexit Deal Sounds Warning Over Its Sustainability. One of the key architects of Boris Johnson's Brexit deal has admitted it is damaging Northern Ireland's businesses and has warned that it may not be sustainable. There we go. Anyway, Lord Frost, who was the Prime Minister's chief Brexit negotiator, also warned that solutions must be found rapidly. Because obviously, these checks are coming. And like I say, they kicked them down the road. The EU is not going to allow them to kick these down further down. So unless they find these solutions soon, it's very unlikely that there will be, shall we say, smooth sailing. And remember, Brexit is already not creating the most calmest of waters here in the UK for many businesses here. So, following his first official visit to the region, he urged the EU to take a pragmatic approach to Northern Ireland Protocol. Effectively creating a border down the Irish Sea is hated by unionists and has been blamed by some politicians for disrupting Northern Ireland's fragile peace process, which it has done very obviously. But again, this was not put in place by the EU, this was put in place by us. This was the solution to which Brexiteers said, this is how we solve the problem. So it's not the first time the UK and the EU have been at loggerheads over the protocol. Last month, Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Brandon Lewis, attempted to put pressure on the EU over the agreement, calling on it to fully understand the importance of identity to Northern Ireland's loyalists. And in March, Brussels threatened legal action after Conservative ministers announced plans to unilaterally extend a grace period designed to allow UK supermarkets and suppliers time to adapt to new trade barriers across the sea. Marko Sovac, the Vice President of the European Commission, said that it would be a violation of the protocol the UK agreed to. After his trip, Lord Frost said, "It is clear from my visit that the protocol is presenting significant challenges for many in Northern Ireland. Businesses have gone to extraordinary efforts to make the current requirements work. But it is hard to see the way the protocol is currently operating will be sustainable for long." He added, "We are committed to working through the issues with the EU and urgently hope in good faith, and I hope that they will take a common sense, risk-based approach that enables us to agree a pragmatic way forward that substantially eases the burden for Northern Ireland." You know how we could substantially ease the burden for Northern Ireland? Join the Single Market and Customs Union. Problem solved overnight, literally. But of course, they ain't going to do that. So, solutions must be found rapidly in order to protect the Belfast/Good Friday Agreement in all of its dimensions and to minimise the disruption to everyday lives of the people in Northern Ireland. As the protocol itself requires, as the Prime Minister has made clear, it will continue to be and consider all our options in meetings of our overriding responsibility for sustaining the peace and prosperity for everyone in Northern Ireland. So, we'll get to it later. We'll finish the article first. Lord Frost met with business representatives from many other sectors, including aerospace, manufacturing, food, drink and retail, life sciences, while on a 2-day visit to Northern Ireland. He also visited the port of Lani to see how checks and controls under the protocol are being operated. He's understood to have heard concerns about the level of complexity and paperwork required on goods remaining in Northern Ireland, as well as the great disruption to supply chains from the UK. Mr. Lewis said, "It is vital that the experiences and opportunities and challenges faced by people in Northern Ireland are understood and at the heart of our approach. I will continue these constructive and practical discussions in the weeks ahead, supporting Northern Ireland's business needs and minimising the risk and disruptions at a crucial time." Well, we said it earlier. The simplest way to solve this problem is just for the UK to join the customs union and the single market. Problem solved overnight. Of course, we aren't going to have that because, whenever this issue has been brought up ever since the very beginning, Brexiteers have turned around and just said, "Oh, it's fine. This is an easy problem with easy solutions. Wham, bam, thank you, man. Job done." Never actually saying what these solutions are. Of course, sometimes even engaging in outright sci-fi fantasy delusions of this technocratic border that somehow operates itself, again, doesn't exist. And yet, as we have said before, once the UK left the EU, there was going to be this problem of where do you put the border? Do you put it down the Irish Sea, or do you put it between the North and the Republic? Of course, you can't put it between the North and Republic because of the Good Friday Agreement / the Belfast Agreement. So it's got to be in the Irish Sea. And you have to have a border somewhere. The only way you can get rid of that border is if you agree to regulatory alignment with the EU. And that means being in the single market and customs union. And that brings huge advantages with it to pretty much every single business and company, not only just in Northern Ireland, but throughout the rest of the UK. Like I say, problem solved. Overnight, literally. But of course, one of the big things we have to worry about, and we've mentioned this before, if Boris Johnson and the rest of the Brexiteers think that it is politically advantageous to just get rid of that Northern Ireland protocol, then they will. And I fear, as we've been seeing at least a couple of months ago, when we went through that article, of that this may very well be their plan. That they intend to just get rid of the protocol and just say, oh, look, it's unworkable, so we're going to have to get rid of it. So this could just be the first volley of, shall we say, salvos from the Brexiteers to try and justify trying to get rid of the Northern Ireland Protocol, which in itself will cause other huge consequences. And of course, that's what happens when you start to engage in magical thinking. So, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.